Oh, the Nintendo Switch. Such an amazing little console. This record-breaking device uplifted the Nintendo magic to new heights and delivered so much happiness to many people around the world. However, this console is also full of secrets, Easter eggs, and curiosities that are not known by very many. Get ready, cause today we are having a look at amazing Nintendo Switch secrets.
Super players.
Although not officially, the Nintendo Switch has an internet browser that you can use to go to any page you want. There are several workarounds to achieve this, but one of the most effective and easy ones is to simply go to Network Settings and in DNS options, change the settings to Manual. And once you are done, change the primary server to 45.55.142.122 and select the option Connect to Network. You will see a screen that tells you that you could not connect to the network, but if you press Next, you can go to any page you want. This browser has certain limitations, such as which content can you play on the web, but if you need to browse the internet and you do not have your cell phone on hand, this is another option that does not require hacks or anything illegal. To return the console to its original operation, just change the DNS options to automatic mode, and that's it. Your Switch will work as usual. Did you know that when you connect a Joy-Con to the Nintendo Switch, the Joy-Con icon appears in the same color as the Joy-Con? Oh, you already knew that? Well, what we're sure you didn't know is that there is a Joy-Con that has a camera inside of it. But wait, don't get the wrong idea. It's not a camera to take selfies. It's more of an infrared sensor that the console uses to detect movement. But if you've played Project Labo, you will see that some games show how this sensor works, and the truth is that it is quite interesting and even something creepy. If you go to your profile, you can see a history of what you've been playing and how much time you've dedicated to it. A very important piece of information if you are one of those gamers who puts hundreds of hours into Zelda or Fortnite. You can also do this with your friends and see what games they spend time on, which is always kind of interesting. Did you know that you can connect a keyboard to your Nintendo Switch? Although not supported on all games, it is pretty practical in games where written chat is the main or the only way of communication. For example, to write in the chat box for Minecraft, or to execute commands, this works great. There are even some third-party accessories that allow you to use it together with the Joy-Cons, which makes the experience even more comfortable. Nobody wants to lose their Joy-Cons, and therefore, the Nintendo Switch has a feature that helps you find them. The console has an option that allows you to activate the vibration of a Joy-Con that you have lost. In this way, as long as you're within a certain range of distance, you will be able to find that Joy-Con that you've missed. Everyone knows that to unlock the Nintendo Switch, you have to press the same button 3 times, right? But did you know that different buttons make different sounds? Not really a super epic secret, but a nice curiosity that allows you to make a lot of random silly sounds. Nintendo Switch supports a bunch of different controllers. In fact, few people know that it supports up to 8 controls at the same time, and not only Joy-Cons, but it also supports the Pro Controller and even GameCube controllers if you use an adapter that is sold separately. Even wireless GameCube controllers work as well. To top it off, Nintendo has also released official retro controllers like the original NES controller, a Super Nintendo controller, and even a Nintendo 64 controller. How about a Pokeball controller? Of course, why not? We also have third-party options like those made by Holly, including this crazy controller designed specifically to play Pokken, a game that, frankly, almost nobody plays. And of course, the strange Ring Fit controller that is also used to exercise while we play, and it only exists for this console. Anyway, the Nintendo Switch supports a lot of weird controllers. If you are playing in the dark, the user interface on your Nintendo Switch can be really bright, leaving you almost blind. But luckily, there is a dark mode on the console. Although not the most unknown secret, we bet you can't imagine how many people have been with their consoles for years and haven't even realized that this exists. Perfect for those last-minute gaming sessions before going to bed. The Nintendo Switch Labo project is one of the most noble initiatives that Nintendo has had, and in fact, it is unique among the other gaming companies. Basically, the idea is that children can build their own toys and use them with their console. These projects are made using materials such as recyclable cardboard in conjunction with the software that is included, which, by the way, explains very well how to put together some of these projects, which can take hours to build, even for adults. One of the most interesting kits from Nintendo Labo are the VR goggles for Nintendo Switch, which are also made of cardboard, and because of that, they are quite affordable and work surprisingly well. But the secret that many people don't know is that you can not only play the games that your Nintendo Labo brings, you can also create your own video games. Yes, you can! You can program a video game within your Nintendo Switch and share it with your friends, and even play video games that other players have made. The Nintendo Switch has a mobile app that gives you visibility into what content your kids are playing. You can see which days they are playing, which games they spend the most time on, and even limit which games they can play based on their age, or make exceptions if you want to. You can also do things like limit whether they can enter the eShop, or get notified when they download a new game or app. Quite practical to take care of the smallest members of the family. Number 10. One of the best things about the Switch paid online service is how relatively cheap it is compared to PlayStation or Xbox, and also that you can have access to exclusive games, especially those classics from retro Nintendo consoles. But the best feature of all is the ability to save your progress in the cloud. On a portable console, this is vital, since if your console is lost or stolen, you can recover the progress you have made in the games that support it. Great, huh? Who said you can't use wireless Bluetooth headphones on the Switch? Previously, you had to resort to buying third-party Bluetooth adapters that connected to the console. But now, your wireless headphones can connect natively to the console's Bluetooth. So, if you already have some AirPods lying around, you don't need to bring another pair of headphones to play games on your Switch. We all know that the Nintendo Switch isn't the most powerful console out there, but that doesn't mean you can't join your friends and play with the big boys from PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. That's because the Nintendo Switch supports crossplay in some games, not only with other consoles, but also with iOS and Android devices. Not all games support it, and the type of crossplay varies between games. But to give you an idea, you can play Fortnite, Minecraft, Paladins, Overwatch, among others. If you're the only user playing on your Nintendo Switch, you don't need to specify who you are every time you use it. There is an option that allows you to skip that question if there is only one profile on your console. A tip that makes you a little more agile when starting your console. And to conclude, the Nintendo Switch had a hidden game included. This game is NES Golf, which was released in 1984 and was developed entirely by the legend Satoru Iwata, who unfortunately passed away from cancer in 2015. And although Nintendo never publicly admitted, it is quite obvious that this game is a tribute to Mr. Iwata, as the way of launching it requires very specific conditions to play it. The first condition is that it can only be activated on July 11th, the date Mr. Iwata died, and the second is that to run the game, you have to make the traditional signal that he used in all of his Nintendo Directs, by extending both arms forward and then back. Only in this very specific way, the game could be activated. An update eventually came to the console where this was removed, but there is no doubt that it was a tribute to this legend of the video game industry that was such an important part of the team that created the Nintendo Switch during his final months on Earth, but unfortunately could not be with us to see its tremendous success. On behalf of all the Nintendo fans and all the video game fans, and all of the super players around the world, we will always remember Mr. Iwata for all of his contributions to our favorite pastime. And we ask you to please press F in the comments to pay respect to the great Satoru Iwata, a gamer and legend himself that impacted us all. Thank you.